Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Frieren, episode 23, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 23, in which the next task, the next part of the exam will happen. I can already see the first frame of the episode being an entrance to a dungeon, probably, right? The task said something about the dungeon. So, the previous episode. The previous episode was about what I expected, but a little bit more than I expected, honestly. I fully expected the previous episode to be slice of lifey. I fully expected that after so much excitement of the big. Sorry. After so much excitement of the big exam, there has to be some downtime, and downtime we did get. Except I expected it to be mostly focused on just Frieren and her merry brigade, but rather we got that episode spread across multiple other people, multiple other groups, right? We spent some time with Denken and his adopted granddaughter, basically, right, Loifen. We learned a little bit more about his motives, more about his past. We learned a lot about Richter, right? What he does in his spare time, and it leaves us wondering, why does he want to be a first-class mage? We spent some time with Jubel and Land even. It was nicely spread apart. That episode really shows us that for this arc, for the exam arc, sure, Frieren, Fern, and Stark are still, or, well, Stark is kind of sidelined, but Frieren and Fern very much do still play the first fiddle, but we are also supposed to care about all those other people. We are supposed to care about Denken. We are supposed to root for him. We are supposed to root for all those other people as well. And it's interesting because it really seems like not all of them will pass. Some of them will fail. Some of the people we care about will fail. And it's a very interesting thing to do, very smart as well. Because if we were to only care about Frieren and Fern, well, then it's a given that they will win. Because it's necessary for the journey to continue. So, of course, either Frieren or Fern will pass the exam, or both. It's a given. So we would be left not caring that much. But because we are introduced to characters who don't have plot armor, who are not main characters, and we are made to care about them, the stakes still exist. And they are very high. And I will be sad if Denken, for example, doesn't pass. I will be very sad if Land dies. Right? It's a very smart thing to do. Our main characters cannot really fail, so let's bring in a whole cast of characters who can fail, and let's make the viewer care about them. Care about their success and care about their failure. The previous episode really did well in giving us reasons to care about those people, so that's cool. We learned a little bit about the magic system as well, which was great. We spent some time with Fern pouting and being angry as she usually is. Some people correctly noticed that she very much is still a moody teenager, so it's to be expected that she's behaving this way. But yeah, it's just classic Fern, and and Stark is always the butt of her anger, of her ire, for various reasons. How dare he drink juice at midnight, right? Anything else? Oh, right. Stark found some new buddies, went to hunt, had some nice guys night out with them, with Virbel and some other random dudes. So that's nice. He really needs some, male friends. It's really a shame that Zain is no longer traveling with us because Stark could really use, a male friend or a male teacher, mentor, whatever, or someone close to his age, or someone to mentor him, right? Zain was kind of this character, but then he went away. When they were staying with Kraft, it was Kraft, but they split apart. So Stark is really kind of at the, like, lost position, something like that. I know, maybe. And yeah, we also spent some time with Khan and Lavin, and now they got a new, hard to call it details. They got information that the next exam will take place in 3 days, and it will be dungeon exploration or something like that. And the proctor is Zenze. And apparently, if Zenze is the proctor, nobody passes the exam. So it's gonna be the first. I have a feeling it's gonna be the first. Maybe even a couple of firsts. Who knows? We have a pretty damn strong cast this time around. Like, I don't know what were previous year's exams, of course. We weren't shown that, but I really feel like there is at least a few people, even aside from Frieren and Fern, who can still pass. Like Denken is a very strong contender. Jubel, Virbel, all of those people are very strong contenders. Maybe even Land, maybe even Richter. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about that. In today's episode, I expect them to enter the labyrinth and learn the details of the task. It's probably gonna be something like, I don't know, there is a chest with marbles at the bottom floor. Reach it, grab a marble, bring it up as proof that you went there, or something like that. Right? They're gonna have to conquer the dungeon and bring proof of it. Or maybe Zenze is gonna wait at the bottom. Who knows? We'll see, I guess. And to see, you're gonna need your subs, of course, to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show. And I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word. It costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching episode 23 of Frieren in 3, 2, 1, go. The ruins of the king's tomb. Right, and now it's FFA. I mean, technically, the previous test was also very simple, so please do. After the opening, of course. There we go, this one. I have 3 things for cleaning my glasses on my desk for some reason. I don't even know how I amassed all 3 of them here at the same time, but they just happen to be here. I'm gonna have to clean up my desk. I have like a half-eaten bag of cheese puffs. And it's been sitting here for a while. The previous week I was, sick, so I didn't really feel like eating stuff like cheese puffs. I didn't feel like eating whatsoever. So I never finished them, and now they're just here taunting me. Could it be that the final task at the bottom is to fight Zenze? It really seems like Frieren and Fern were squaring up against someone in that dungeon, so I wonder. Yeah, about what I expected. Yeah, no need to fight each other. Yeah, and yeah, you better get to the bottom, right? Adventurers didn't manage. Well, you ain't adventurers. You're supposed to be first class mages, aren't you? Hmm. Oh, prehensile hair. Gotta love me some prehensile hair. Lernen. Okay. That's a nice safeguard. Yeah, at least they have that safeguard now. And yeah, she has the correct thinking, right? It would be a shame to see promising mages just die. Who knows, maybe they just need, I don't know, a couple of years and they will pass the test. So why would we permanently get rid of them if we can just wait 5 or 10 years and have them actually become first class mages, right? I like Zenze so far. And Yubel just caught on to him and she's not letting go. I mean, do you have a reason not to? Yeah, it really seems to me like it would be beneficial to just go in with a big, large group to maximize your chances. You have absolutely no reason to screw each other. I mean, sure. Okay, well, see you dead on the second floor, I guess. Other than that, people are mostly keeping to their teams from the first exercise, aren't they? Yeah. Essentially, very unbalanced raiding parties. Just 3 mages in everyone. Wanna join forces with Denken, maybe? You know each other? Hmm. I mean, she knows her stuff. And I think my camera is a little too dark. I think that's better. Oh, I take it you've been here. A minimap? That's a useful spell. I mean, she probably raided a fair few in her days. Hmm. Yeah, he just likes raiding dungeons. Ah, we haven't checked the other paths. There might be treasure hiding. Yeah, but consider treasure. Exactly. He's a gamer. If you're getting too close to the objective marker and your map isn't cleared yet, you turn right the fuck back and you explore the rest. Yeah, let's have some fun. Wasn't that the premise eventually? Like, at some point? That, yeah, okay, we're going to kill the Demon King, but also, we might as well have some fun on the way. Exactly. There might be some Grim Wars. It does. If you're going to do something dangerous, something you must or feel compelled to, you might as well have some fun with it, right? Oh, are they going to join forces? No? Please join forces. I don't want anything to happen to you two girls. Yeah. Hmm. Fair. Anybody stupid enough to go in alone would probably have been a hindrance to you. You're not incorrect, Richter. Mimic. Mimics love Frieren, so it has to be a mimic. There's 1% chance it's a grimoire. Chomp. She knew the risk and she took it. Is there a grimoire, though? She's just completely flabbergasted. Just utterly flabbergasted by what she's seeing. Someone got vaporized? Or squished? Yeah, someone got squished. Observant of you. Of course. Moving statues. Classic. Oh, music's picking up. Yeah, they work nicely together. They make a nice team. When you want to watch red, but she wants to watch blue. I love the usage of staffs in melee range, in melee combat. Well, she's dead. It reminds me when I played Sacred Gold as a battle mage, and I would just smack people with my staff and cast fireballs. Alohomora. Ooh, well, shit. Richter? You have, like, rock powers? Yeah, break the fucking bottle! Okay, there we go. Good. Okay, it worked. Thankfully, they have those bottles, though. And they are proven to work, so... Break the bottle, Frieren. What happens if the bottle just breaks on accident? Right? Like a monster strikes you and it breaks your bottle. Okay. Easy. Or you can just kill the mimic. I mean... Couldn't you have done it now? Ah. Ojostama Frieren. Snakes and ladders? Or just ladders? Red coins. Interesting. Yeah, we gotta explore. You gotta check all the paths. Where are you gonna put it? Do you have a bag of holding or something? Oh, she would love to have a bag of holding. Because they're neat. She likes them because they're neat. Why else? Do you need a reason? It's loot from a dungeon. That alone matters. I mean, it's not like there's anything that would drive Fern, is there? She doesn't have like a dream of defeating the Demon King. She doesn't have a dream of being the strongest, or, nothing of the sort. She had the goal of destroying that rock formation, right? But yeah, but since then she doesn't really have a goal. She's just along for the ride. And it made me smile as well. Yep. Hmm. I mean, you can't forever just be motivated by proxy, though. You're gonna have to find your own drive sooner or later. Yeah, it's been very fun so far. Some nice treasure and stuff. That's the door from the opening, isn't it? Yep. Oh, I thought it's gonna be the ending, but no. Still have some time. Like 5 minutes-ish. Great reverb. Oh, Yubel is here. Yubel, Land, and who? Oh! Okay! They're doppelgangers. Okay, interesting. I fully expected Yubel to just go full in genocide route, but no. That's a long staff. Melee mages. I gotta love some melee mages, as I already said. Battle mage is my favorite class. Any game that lets me use melee combat and magic is a good game. Yeah, I was about to say that it's a very true to life replica. Laufen, not Läufen. Gotcha. Yeah, there's that at least. Yeah. It's never just going to be a, symmetrical 1v1, right? Because you can always, like, exchange your opponents, just like Wirbel's team did. if you go in alone, then you're facing your exact copy, and you know, it's not so easy anymore. Whomst? Oh, a copy of Frieren? Or... Yep. The final boss, Frieren herself. And the music. Just Dark Souls Hellbar appears. Okay. Does that mean that Frieren was in this dungeon at some point back in time and the dungeon remembered her? Or did it just randomly grabbed her as perhaps the strongest mage inside and used her to create the final boss? That could be it. That could be it. That maybe if Frieren didn't enter for whatever reason, then Ken would be facing off against Fern right now, or against Zense, or whoever else the dungeon deems the strongest. Interesting. Interesting. Denken lost to Frieren once already. So it's gonna be an interesting fight. Really makes me want to play some game to explore dungeons. I don't know what game is there that just focuses on exploring dungeons, but hopefully there is one. Perfect replicas. Well, Fern and Frieren faced off against perfect replicas once already, except it was the replicas of their loved ones. But something tells me they're gonna find a way to deal with them. I mean, it's Frieren and Fern we're talking about, so for sure they will. But what will happen right now is this same episode again. Let's watch it. And I think my camera is a little too bright after all. Yeah, I think this is better, isn't it? Maybe, I don't know. Sure. Okay, so... yeah, anyone who wishes to become a first-class mage should be able to pass it with ease. Absolutely. And, right, now we know whose legs were in the opening, right? Who Fern and Frieren were facing against. Probably against Frieren. Frieren's copy, rather. Yeah, raiding a dungeon. You reach the deepest floor, which makes sense. I thought they are gonna be raiding like an already explored dungeon, though. That Zense maybe just teleported to the bottom because it's being explored. There's been a waypoint set up at the bottom or whatever. She teleported there, left some coins or whatever thingamajig, teleported back up, and hey, bring me a coin as proof. But then it would entice fighting, wouldn't it? People would just go down to the first floor and just camp. Other teams would go to the very bottom, grab a coin, claw their way back up, weakened because of all the fighting, and then teams from the first floor who were camping there would just, zap them with Zolfrak and grab the coins, and right, it would be a repeat of the previous exam, essentially. So yeah, it makes sense in the context of her saying that she's a pacifist and dislikes fighting. So yeah, you just need to reach the bottom. and I'm gonna be there, or rather, I'm gonna go down there with you and wait for you. Or if you make it there first, you wait for me until I reach that same point and I'm able to verify that you made it. Many adventurers have failed to return. Yeah, but question: are you an unwashed, dirty fucking vagrant who calls himself an adventurer, or are you a prominent mage who strives to be the first fucking class? Which one is it? Right? You're attempting to reach the pinnacle of magehood. You're not a fucking adventurer. Adventurers failed, yeah. As they should have. You're a mage, for God's sake, though. Makes perfect sense. Right? You must forge ahead regardless of whether or not anyone's been there before you. Do you hope to forever, follow in someone else's footsteps as a first-class mage? No, you're there to pave the way. So go down there and fucking pave it. Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know how it is, fully, and I don't know how it is in other countries, but in Poland, scientific ranks of, what's there, licentiate, magister, and doctor. Those are the main four. Licentiate, to be one, you need to make use of existing knowledge. Magister must have a mastery of existing knowledge, and doctor must create new knowledge. Those are the three basic requirements to achieve a certain rank. So your first dissertation as a licentiate, or in my case engineer, you utilize existing knowledge to create something with it. For a magister, you need to prove that you've mastered the existing knowledge in your dissertation or project or whatever, and as a doctor you must write a dissertation on a topic that hasn't been covered. So you have to find something new to research from grounds up on your own. Cool system, I like it. And it really seems like it's something similar here, right? You're attempting to be the first class mage. You don't follow, you pave the way. And so, explore this unexplored dungeon. That's what a first class mage would do. That's what's expected of a first class mage. And yeah, she will be there with you all. I love prehensile hair. I don't know why, I just like prehensile hair. Escape golem. I like it. I like that they actually get a safeguard of some sort. Dungeon of the Unified Dynasty, multiple entrances. They all lead to the deepest level. Why are you acting like we're going together? Why are you not acting like that? I really don't get this, dude. I mean, kind of sort of do oh, if we go there all together and we have to run away from monsters, who's to say nobody's gonna slap my kneecaps away and leave me as bait so that the rest can escape, right? He has some... He speaks some sense, but in the grand scheme of things, you rush in a mass of mages covering all around you. Some are on defensive duty, some are on offensive duty, some are constantly casting spells looking for traps, and you make it all of you to the bottom, or a majority of you make it to the bottom. Then makes the most sense here. Everybody en masse just goes there. It gives you the highest chances of survival, highest chances of success. Especially since, yeah, you're not competing anymore. So it doesn't make sense to screw people up. It makes no sense to go in alone. At least take your team from the previous exercise. They're the people you know, like Virbel, right? He's like, oh, I don't want to go in alone. I don't want to go in with people I don't know. Well, you two guys, I was with you the last time, so come on, let's go. I know you at least a little bit, right? I know your skills, I know what you're capable of. It's gonna be better than just going in with randos, and it's gonna be better than going in alone. Makes perfect sense. And unfortunately, other people follow in the solo guy's footsteps. Well, not quite going in solo, going in basically the same exact teams that were already established. Just like Virbel says, right? At the very least, I can't work with anyone I don't know well, so let's go in with the usual team. It would have been better if they went all together, though. And I honestly hoped that Frieren and Fern are going to join Denken's team. Alternatively, I hoped for Kanne and Lavin to join Denken's team. But no, unfortunately. Unfortunately not. And yeah, she has a good eye. That's a really nice, really detailed minimap. It was Himmel who loved dungeons. He did. He did love them enough to explore them in their entirety, and I really can empathize with Himmel here. Whatever game I play, I always just explore the whole map. It might just not make sense at all. Maybe there's absolutely nothing to find there, but it just doesn't sit well with me to leave an area covered by fog of war, right? I might like stand next to it and see what's going on there and see that there's nothing there, but that area is not uncovered on my map. So I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna go back just to uncover the piece of map, and Himmel is very much the same. If we're going towards the goal and we haven't explored the rest, well, we're going the wrong way. Let's go back and try that different route. Try that different turn, right? Yeah. One must explore the entire floor. Why? For fun. Because it's fun. Because it's fun exploring. It's fun finding new things. It's fun uncovering ancient artifacts. It's fun finding, I know, writing on the wall in blood with bloody handprints on it. It's fun seeing things that no one has ever seen before, and maybe no one ever will after us, right? It's just fun to do. You don't need any other reason to do that. Yeah, as we travel, the dungeons will become more life-threatening, but we will also be stronger. Because maybe we explored this dungeon and we found some really important herb in there that can restore our health or something. And we might end up fighting the big bad boss, the Demon King, and still have 99 health potions left because we collected all of them in the dungeon. Yeah, I intend to enjoy it until the end. I'll have fun adventuring, raiding dungeons, and before I know it, I'll have saved the world. We don't have to beeline it to save the world. We can have some fun with it. Who's preventing us? Who's stopping us? In the first place, nobody even expects us to save the world. The king just gave us a couple of coppers and sent us away because we're not the first ones. No one has much expectations from us. We don't have to beeline it. I really like Himmel's approach to it. And yeah, he knows exactly what to say. There might be a rare grimoire. Let's fucking go. Grimoire, say less, bro. It really doesn't make sense. It makes sense. It's fun. See, I'm scared for Kanne and Lavin entering on their own. Like, they are strong. But only conditionally. If there is water to use, they are strong. If there is no water, they just fall apart. They can't really do much. So, I hope they do well. But I don't have particularly high expectations, you know? I think that if there is anybody who would fail this test, it would be either Kanne or Lavin or both. As far as the like main characters go that we followed in the previous exam, right? Denken has a chance to complete it because Denken is with Leufen and Richter, and all three of them are powerful. The three of them have a chance to complete it. Absolutely. Frieren and Fern, for sure. Wirbelsteam, maybe. Like, I can see Wirbelsteam losing Ehre. Ehre might have to use her golem. I can see that being the case. As far as Khan and Lavin, they're not that strong comparatively to the other participants, or rather, they are conditionally strong compared to, for example, Denken, who's strong just unconditionally. Water or no water, fire or no fire, he's just a very good mage. Let me note it down that Lavin and or can lose. Either of them or both of them. That remains to be seen. In the end, only 5 of us. And who are those girls? They are... Have they been named? I think that's Lange. The one who looks like she just woke up in sleeping dress. And the blonde is... Is she listed on the list of characters? I think she might not be. Yeah, I don't think she's listed. But yeah, she at least is decently strong, as opposed to Lange, who just isn't that strong. She might be strong for all we know, but she's very easy to... easily flustered, essentially. Only the smartest have remained. Yeah, only those who really believe that, you know, going together is the solution. There aren't any idiots here to hold us back. Exactly. There isn't anybody who would be, you know, trying to screw you over, maybe. Or anybody who would be trying to solo a monster or stuff like that. Only the most pragmatic people have stayed. Well, I guess except... No, Lange didn't fall for the trap, like, of her own mistake. She just didn't react fast enough, so whatever. Falling for simple traps like mimics, he says as we cut to Frieren, who falls for a very simple trap like a mimic. Or rather, it's not so much that she falls for the trap, it's that she realizes that it probably is a trap, but it's still worth a risk. She didn't think that, oh, it's a normal regular chest, grabbed it, and oh, turns out it's a mimic. No, she knew that it's most probably a mimic, but on the off chance it's not. On the off chance there's a grimoire inside. I'm gonna do it anyway. She made a conscious, educated decision, you could say. And of course it's a mimic. Mimics really, really like her. Perhaps weird thing to notice, but there's a lot of detail on her knee pit. You usually don't see that much detail on like this joint from this side. Yeah, someone got squished. Like, what's her face? Lange. Lange is an interesting character to me. All this time, she's like just terrified out of her mind. Why is she taking part in a first grade mage exam? Right? Like all the other people, it seems they have at least some, determination, some grit to them, something. Meanwhile, Lange, she's like, oh, no, I want to run away. I want to escape. What am I doing here? What's her story? I wonder if she's maybe been forced into it somehow because of family expectations, or her family is in debt and by becoming a first class mage she's going to be able to repay it, or something like that, right? Forced by the circumstances. Interesting that I'm getting into like this sort of theories about a character that I don't think has even spoken a single line of text. But yeah, what other reason would she have to enter a place where she clearly doesn't want to be? Gargoyles. I had higher expectations of you than Ken. I would have expected you to notice that, hey, those things, they are likely to, be animated because that's a classic in a dungeon. But no, he just seems absolutely shocked by this development. Not for long, like he kicks into gear very fast. But still. She is just completely unmoved. Melee combat, again, I really like melee mages. Battle mages are really my just favorite class. Interesting that Lange has a star-shaped staff and a star-shaped pendant. I wonder if it signifies something. And yeah, unfortunately her shield was very, very weak. And she seems just completely, out of options. Just, is it because she lost her staff that she can't lose, like, I know, maybe not explosion magic in a confined room, but something to try to save herself? She just seems to resign herself for her fate. Right? Like, going back to what Sense said, you would expect a little bit more from a candidate for a first-class mage than what Lange represents with herself. So again, I am left wondering about her circumstances, her motivation. Meanwhile, the rest are really working well together. And she probably wouldn't have broken the bottle if not for Denken telling her to. She was probably so scared of her life that she just would completely forget that she has the bottle. Yeah, thankfully the golems work really well. So that's good. Explosion magic, but I don't like explosion magic. It gives me ringlets. It turns me into an Ojo-sama. Oh ho ho! Yeah, some treasure, some red coins. Is there no, there isn't a metal that would be red. Copper would be the closest, but it's not like copper shade. I guess it's just a magic metal. Whatever. Another mimic. Does seem a bit odd for an unexplored dungeon. Why? Why does it seem odd for an unexplored dungeon? Could it be that there is something more to it, I wonder? Could it be that there's like that Zerie is waiting at the bottom or something? She moved. She moved to a new place and it's this dungeon? Maybe, I know. And just a bunch of stuff I don't know where she's keeping it, but I guess she has pockets of holding or something. She doesn't even have her suitcase anymore, so she's just levitating it behind her. I don't know. It's a lot of interesting stuff. Some books, right? Some grimoires, some crystal balls, couple of potions, what seems like a telescope, a sensor of some sort, an urn, some coins. Looks like junk, yeah, maybe, but it's magical junk. It's loot from the dungeon. Isn't that alone exciting, right? This box, see, it has 20,000 years. What was the use? I don't know, but it's cool. Why do those things make her happy? Because they're the spoils of her exploration. That's it. You don't need more. I've never seen a mage as skilled as you at your age, and yet I sense no passion. You must have trained hard, and yet I sense no passion or determination. Yeah, this is something that I've been noticing about Frieren for a long time, that she's just along for the ride. She isn't particularly motivated either way. She doesn't really have any goals of her own. She's just following Frieren. Frieren wants to talk to Himmel, and Frieren just goes with her with just essentially the force of momentum, right? She's been accompanying her all those years, so might as well tag along for the ride. Doesn't have any sort of motivation of her own. I wonder if she finds it. That would be a really, really cool arc for Fern to find her motivation. That would be dope. That would be so incredibly dope. To have an arc of just Fern finding her drive. Finding a reason to continue mastering her magic. Finding a reason to continue to travel. Right? It could be something as simple as eradicating the demons. Or it could be something more complex, like making the world a better place. Or it could be going in the footsteps of her master and collecting all sorts of magic. Could be anything, but something. I would love for her to find something, to find a drive. Hopefully the source material covers it. Because I don't think we have enough time to do that in just this season of the anime, but hopefully the manga does have something about it. I became a proper mage to repay a debt, yeah, and I just did it, and yeah, it's just, you know, it's just force of habit that I'm doing it by now. That, and she likes to see Frieren smile, and Frieren smiles when exploring, so Frieren just explores with her. But yeah, you can't really forever be motivated by proxy, can you? Yeah, that's the door from the opening. I really expected Yubel to just show up, because we know that she also has this magic. And why would she show up and attack them? I don't know, because she's Yubel. Because she's genocidal like that. Because sure, you don't have a reason to fight, but you don't have a reason to not fight either. And if she can fight some strong people, then hell fucking yeah, let's go. And she noticed Virbel and she wants revenge. A little bit of, you know, rematch. And so she jumps straight into it. I fully expected her to be the instigator. With or without Land, I don't know. Land would probably not want anything to do with that. But Yubel alone, for sure. Wasn't Yubel though. It was their exact copies instead. Ehre on Sharf. Why? Sharp has special magic. Ehre doesn't really. So I wonder why would Virbel think that Ehre is a good matchup against Sharp. Sharp against Virbel, because Sharp can easily obstruct line of sight with his petal magic. Yeah, sure, I can see that. And Virbel on Ehre, I know, he's just taking the easiest the easiest one. Probably. I don't know, does Ehre have any special magic? She didn't really have much of a chance to use it in the previous arc, did she? She was just constantly on the defensive because because Frieren is just a living Gatling gun. So she didn't really have a chance to shine, but maybe there is something about her magic. I don't know, we'll see. They are meanwhile facing off against Laufen's clone. Easily. Melee combat. I really like it. Melee combat, but also with some magic. That's the coolest thing here, right? Like, okay, sure, I'm gonna smack you with my stick, but then I'm gonna cast Force Push with my stick as well. And if I deem it necessary, I'm gonna cast Fire on my stick and I'm gonna beat you with a flaming stick, right? It's cool. I really always enjoy the combination of magic and melee. Especially in like more imaginative ways, like here, than magic sword that does magic wave, swish, 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 and or magic sword and it's on fire. It's kind of boring, but something like this, cool shit. Yeah, I think I talked about this idea of mine for a character, maybe during Frieren, maybe during some other show, some other reaction. I had this idea for a character for the longest time in my mind. Mage who cannot, I don't know, they're just unable to cast long range magic. It just fizzles out as soon as it leaves their hand. So instead, they just cast a fireball immediately at their fist and they just punch you with a fireball, right? Instead of throwing it. Just something I think is neat. Haven't had a chance to use this character anywhere. If you want to use this idea in, I don't know, a D&D session or something, feel free. And yeah, big blast. And done. Easy. Very perfect copy. Based on memories. Could be demonic magic, I wonder. It's the, like, Tomb of Kings, though, so would demons have access to it? Or would it be like a ancient magic of humans, rather? Like, ancient human kings were buried here, and back in the day, human magic was so strong. Are we dealing with something like past civilization thing? Because those dungeons were dungeons already during Frieren's travels. Theory. Magic was very advanced already. Then demons appeared, evolved, whatever. And they essentially wanted monopoly on magic, so they hunted down mages, and thus the level of human magic dropped until they were able to rediscover their magic slowly but surely. So this tomb just uses normal, regular human magic, but from a previous civilization who had much stronger magic. I don't know, just an idea. We'll see. Yeah, he's correct. We were right to team up because it gives us more options, right? If you're a fire mage and you're facing off against yourself, then fire against fire, it's like even matchup. But if you have an ice mage and a water mage and a stone mage with you, then the water mage can go against the fire mage can go against the stone mage, and the stone mage can go against the water mage, or right, something like that. You have options. I wonder where is the dude who entered first alone. Maybe he was the stain on the floor. Yeah, that seems like a safe assumption. And the final boss with just fucking Dark Souls music. Can we deal with that too? That's a good question. That's a very good question. The one thing I can say is that if it weren't a test, yeah, I'd just be shattering my bottle and I would have fucking bailed at this site. I love that Frieren had, like, Frieren copy still has the Frieren entrance of just slowly floating down from the air. It's great. It's amazing. And the music and everybody just whipping out their staffs. It's just such a cool scene. Such an amazing scene. I love it. Let me see that flourish again. It's so cool. So cool. And such a cool idea for the final boss of the dungeon as well. Yeah, see, I was almost convinced that Denken is gonna make it, but not so much now. Not so much now. He essentially meets his nemesis here. What are we gonna do about this? Smells nice. It's time if we're evenly matched. That's not funny. Could you please look into my eyes? Then who wins will come down to luck. Could you please look into... so it's not impossible. How much time do you need? They're perfect replicas. Yeah. Hopefully they're not perfect, because if they are, then you have absolutely no chance against Frieren, I'm afraid. Okay. There we go. Now, thankfully, it's just Frieren they're facing off against, and not like Frieren, Fern, and Zenze trio, because then you would be just royally fucked. With just Frieren alone, and 4 of you here, and Frieren being just a copy, you might have a chance. Tentatively, right? You might employ some different various tactics. Maybe you can survive at least. Unlikely, but hopefully. I like Denken. I don't want Denken to die. This was a fun episode. This was a very fun episode. I love dungeon crawling. I just really enjoyed it. I love that Himmel is such a dungeon nerd that he also wants to just scour every single path possible, because maybe there's something that we didn't discover, and also we just need to have fun with it while we're here. Might as well. We don't need to bum rush it for the ending, do we? Frieren encountering mimics again, finding some useless junk, but also fun junk, because it's... what is it? I don't fucking know, but it's 20,000 years old, so that automatically makes it cool. Just my, whatchamacallit? Kindred spirits. Yeah, Himmel and Frieren both. In that regard of just amassing all sorts of junk. I'd rather throw away my spare weapons and keep the junk in my inventory than throw away that golden statuette that I know does absolutely nothing. It's even labeled as junk by the game, but there's only one. And I'm not getting rid of it. it really makes me want to play some game that allows me to just, raid dungeons. I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet. Does it have dungeon delving? Because if it does, I think I'm just gonna play it. I think that's gonna be what I play. I mean, it's Dungeons and Dragons, for God's sake. There better be fucking dungeons in there. Or I might replay Sacred. Yeah. Haven't played Sacred in a while. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I finished Sacred only once. Only once with a Seraphim. No, I didn't finish it with a Seraphim. I finished it with a Battle Mage. Right. The one that I told you about, where I would just smack people in the head with my staff and cast fireballs, and that was the only thing I did. That Battle Mage, I really mourn the fact that I lost this save, and I never played the Underworld campaign with this mage, because I played the game before the expansion came out. Because I had a ring on that character that had plus 20% chance of finding rare items, and I was decked out in said gear and shit. I need to stream Sacred. Tell ya what. Yeah, maybe. I don't want to make any promises because I made so many of them and I broke so many of them. So I don't want to make any promises, but it's I'm gonna keep it in mind, in the back of my head. Regardless, because I started talking about games instead of this episode, or I'm gonna make a game about dungeon delving. No, that's a little bit lofty, too lofty of a plan. But maybe though. I have Unreal Engine installed. I might. Anything else about this episode? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I'm very scared for the people entering this dungeon. Like the bald guy, Biel, or whatever his name is, and the other guys are whatever. I have little to no attachment to them, but I really wouldn't want Ehre to die. I really wouldn't want Kana and Lavine. I wouldn't want anything to happen to them, right? I would like Denken to get his first class mage thingamajig and visit his wife's grave. The previous arc and the previous episode really did wonders towards making me care about all those characters. When it comes to Frieren and Feren, again, I'm really not scared for them because they're main characters and they need to pass this exam to continue their journey, and the journey is the main plot of this show, so of course they will pass it. But the rest, now that Frieren turns out to be the last boss of the dungeon, now I'm scared of them. It really seemed like a cakewalk for the longest time, especially for Denken's party. Alright, Denken is knowledgeable, he knows how to deal with all sorts of things, he's a powerful mage, so is Richter, so is Laufen. So they had a very easy time, and I thought that, oh, well, everybody was talking how Sense's tests are so hard and nobody's gonna pass, and now everybody's gonna pass, every named character is just gonna complete it. No. No, probably not. It honestly wouldn't surprise me if Denken's party were to fail. It wouldn't surprise me at all. If they were to fail, and if Denken were to join our party, Frieren's party, to visit his wife's grave, because they're going in the same exact direction, so might as well go together. It wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. I wonder. Also, I would really like to see the fight of Frieren and Feren versus Frieren. That would be a sight to behold, wouldn't it? That will be a sight to behold, because we've seen a glimpse of that in the opening, didn't we? Yeah, I think that's gonna be it. I think that's gonna be it about this episode, because I'm gonna sit here and just talk about gaming and playing Sacred and stuff like that. So, yeah, again, that's gonna be it. What did you guys think of this episode, though? Tell me all about it in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? No spoilers, please. Spoilers, go to my Discord here also in the description. Like this video if you did like it. Subscribe to be notified of future releases, not only Frieren, but also Mage Record, Shangri-La Frontier, plenty others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified of when I go live, because I do stream sometimes, maybe even Sacred, who knows. And support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below. On Patreon for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Mage Record, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. On YouTube you can support me directly without any third parties. Also down below, super thanks, super chats, memberships, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to. Share my content, spread the word. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Without a Net, Group Survivor, Zayrene, Dr. Watt, Akamancer, Marsh, UK Alive, Hassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to fight in any dungeons.